Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today I wanted to talk about some concerns that the Battlefield community has for the medic class in Battlefield 4, because a lot of people were kind of thinking that DICE learned their lesson in Battlefield 3 with regards to the medics and giving them the best weapons in the game, and then arguably some of the best tools, the med pack and the defibrillator at their disposal, just basically making them this unstoppable force on the battlefield, where if you're playing on an infantry map, or even if you're just playing on any map, playing as a medic is always a good idea. And so people were thinking that DICE would maybe make a new class that would use personal defense weapons but would have access to the med pack and the defibrillator. Maybe they would go back to what they had in Bad Company 2, where the support players, the ones that use the light machine guns, would have access to those tools. But now that we've seen the E3 alpha demonstration, it looks like DICE is going down the same path, and this has people concerned because now everyone will assume that we're going to have the same problems in Battlefield 3, where everyone just gravitates on over to the medic class. And so for today, I wanted to talk about, while I think that those concerns are definitely justifiable, I wanted to talk about maybe some subtler things that may have gone unnoticed that will hopefully elevate the other weaker classes that we currently have in Battlefield 3, elevate them to the point where they're on par with the medic, and also how DICE is reducing the effectiveness of the medic as well. So the first thing that I think is worth mentioning is that the defibrillators are seeing a tweak. Apparently, now they are going to have a charge on them. So if you go for a revive, we don't know if that first revive is going to take a couple of seconds, but the second and third one after that is going to be a lot like what we had in Bad Company 2, where the first one would go off, and then you'd have to wait a couple of seconds for the defibrillator to charge back up, and then you can get the next revive off. And while this isn't going to have a dramatic effect on how a lot of people play the game, if you are playing on a close quarter map, or you're playing on a map like Grand Bazaar, where those intense firefights are happening and your entire squad just got completely wiped and you're the only one left, no longer will you have the capabilities to revive everyone instantaneously, resetting the fight and bringing everything back to square one. If you and your allies, your entire squad except for you, is down on the ground, it's going to take you a while to bring everyone up, and in that time, the enemy can push up on you, take you out, and then allowing them to push up onto an objective, and no longer will you have that stalemate. I personally really like this change. I think it's going to be a welcome one and balance things out significantly. It happens a lot on those close quarter maps, especially like on Grand Bazaar, like I just said. So while this is just the alpha build and things are definitely subject to change, I'm hoping that they continue on the same path of where the defibrillator isn't as ridiculous as what we currently have. Now, the next thing that I think is worth mentioning is that DICE is implementing a new specialization in the game that reduces the time period of when you get hit to when you start to regenerate your health. So instead of taking 10 seconds for that automatic health regen to kick in, it may only take 5. And while this won't have a dramatic effect on how you play the game, what it will do is it will reduce your dependency on having or playing as a medic. So now, if you want to play as an engineer or a support or a recon, it doesn't feel like you need to have a med pack on your feet all the time because you have the specialization. And while it would still be better to have a med pack because it's going to regenerate your health faster, you just won't be as dependent as you currently are in Battlefield 3. Now, another large change is that DICE is shifting some power on over to the recon and the support class, and that is coming in the form as the suppression effect, where their weapons are more potent for that kind of stuff. So now when a support or a recon is getting in a firefight with an assault player, they are going to be suppressing them more so than the assault player is on them. And if it's anything like we currently have in Battlefield 3, that's a pretty huge advantage. I mean, they haven't really gone into the exact details on what the suppression effect is going to do. Is it going to increase your bullet deviation? Is it going to blur your screen significantly? Is it going to cause you to have more recoil? But the suppression effect, if it's anything like it is in Battlefield 3, that is going to be a pretty huge disadvantage for the assault player. And I personally love these changes because in the current state of things, you can just take pot shots at a recon really at no matter what distance, and eventually you will take them out. And they don't really have any way of retaliating because of the suppression effect. But now that role is being reversed where they're going to be able to suppress you, their accuracy isn't going to be going all over the place, and they're going to be able to snipe and take your head off. And so I love the direction and that kind of shift in power that's moving on over to the recon and the support players. So overall, while we don't know conclusively if all of these changes are going to shift the balance in power and make all the classes feel in line with everyone and make every single class feel relevant and powerful, what it does show us is that these will have an effect on the game, and it's clear that DICE is trying to shift things very subtly. This is the alpha. We only saw a very small glimpse of the game, and things are going to be changing. We're not even into the beta phase at this point, but I'm kind of hoping that this video maybe has alleviated some of the worries that you guys had, that DICE was making all the same mistakes and we were going to have all the same problems. But that is about it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below in the comments section, what major change would you guys like to see to the medic class that you think would put it more in line with everything else? Let me know down below in the comments section. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.